Today in this video of Polity and Governance as a full part, but even though there will be so many parts to discuss, anyway we have to try to complete in our best. So welcome all into the next new video. Polity and Governance കുറിച്ച് പറയുമ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ ഭരണഘടന പ്രധാനമായിട്ടും നിർമ്മിക്കപ്പെട്ടിട്ടുള്ളത് ജസ്റ്റിസ്, ലിബർട്ടി, ഇക്വാലിറ്റി ആൻഡ് ഫ്രട്ടേണിറ്റി, സോഷ്യലിസ്റ്റ്, സെക്കുലർ ആൻഡ് ഇൻറ്റഗ്രിറ്റി, ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള 6ഓളം വാക്കുകളിൽ ഉൾക്കൊള്ളുന്നതാണ്. 448 ആർട്ടിക്കിളുകൾ 25 ഭാഗങ്ങളിലായി 12 ഷെഡ്യൂളിലാണ് ഇത് നിർമ്മിക്കപ്പെട്ടിട്ടുള്ളത്. 103ഓളം അമെൻമെൻറ്റുകൾ നടത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. മൊത്തത്തിൽ 395 ആർട്ടിക്കിളുകൾ 22 ഭാഗങ്ങളിലായി 8 ഷെഡ്യൂളുകളും ഉൾക്കൊള്ളുന്നതാണ് നമ്മുടെ ഭരണഘടന. ഈ ഒരു ഇന്ത്യയുടെ ഭരണഘടന എന്ന ആശയം ആദ്യമായി മുന്നോട്ട് വെച്ചത് കമ്മ്യൂണിസ്റ്റ് ലീഡറായ MN റോയിയാണ്. 2 വർഷമെടുത്തിട്ടാണ് ഭരണഘടന, 2 വർഷവും 11 മാസവും 18 ദിവസവും എടുത്തിട്ടാണ് കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂവൻ്റ് അസംബ്ലി ഭരണഘടന രൂപം നൽകുന്നത്. അവസാനം ഇത് രൂപപ്പെട്ടത് 26 നവംബറിനാണ് 1949. എന്നാൽ ഇത് നിലവിൽ വരുന്നത് 1950 26 ജനുവരി നമ്മൾ റിപ്പബ്ലിക് ഡേ ആയി ആഘോഷിക്കാറുള്ള ആ ദിവസത്തിലാണ്. ഇതിൽ പ്രധാനമായും ഓരോ പങ്കുകൾ വഹിച്ച ഓരോ ഭാഗങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഓരോ ആളുകളെയാണ് പ്രധാനമായും ഏൽപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നത്. അതിൽ BR അംബേദ്കർ ആയിരുന്നു ഡ്രാഫ്റ്റിംഗ് കമ്മിറ്റി ചെയർമാൻ. ജവഹർലാൽ നെഹ്റുവിൻ്റെ കീഴിൽ യൂണിയൻ പവേഴ്സ് കമ്മിറ്റി, യൂണിയൻ കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂവൻ്റ് കമ്മിറ്റി, സ്റ്റേറ്റ് കമ്മിറ്റി, കമ്മിറ്റി ഫോർ നെഗോഷിയേറ്റിംഗ് വിത്ത് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്. രാജേന്ദ്ര പ്രസാദിൻ്റെ കീഴിൽ റൂൾസ് ഓഫ് പ്രൊസീജിയർ കമ്മിറ്റി ആൻഡ് സ്റ്റിയറിംഗ് കമ്മിറ്റി. സർദാർ പട്ടേൽ അഡ്വൈസറി കമ്മിറ്റി ഓൺ ഫണ്ടമെൻ്റൽ റൈറ്റ്സ്, മിനിസ്ട്രീസ് ആൻഡ് ട്രൈബൽ ആൻഡ് എക്സ്ക്ലൂഡഡ് ഏരിയാസ്, പ്രൊവിൻഷ്യൽ കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷൻ കമ്മിറ്റി. ഇനി നമ്മുടെ ഭരണഘടന രൂപപ്പെട്ടിട്ടുള്ളത് പല രാജ്യങ്ങളിൽ നിന്നും കടമെടുത്ത ഒരുപാട് സോഴ്സുകൾ ഉൾക്കൊണ്ടുകൊണ്ടാണ്. അവകൾ ഏതൊക്കെയാണെന്ന് നോക്കാം. ദ ഗവൺമെൻറ് ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യ ആക്ട് ഓഫ് 1935, ഫെഡറൽ സ്കീം, പബ്ലിക് സർവീസ് കമ്മീഷൻ, ഓഫീസ് ഓഫ് ഗവർണർ, ജുഡീഷ്യറി, എമർജൻസി, പ്രൊവിൻസ് ആൻഡ് അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേറ്റീവ് ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ്, ബ്രിട്ടീഷ് കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷൻ, പാർലമെൻ്ററി സിസ്റ്റം, ലെജിസ്ലേറ്റീവ് പ്രൊസീജിയർ, പാർലമെൻ്ററി പ്രിവിലേജ്, സിംഗിൾ സിറ്റിസൺഷിപ്പ്, ക്യാബിനറ്റ് സിസ്റ്റം, റൂൾസ് ഓഫ് ലോ, prerogative writs and bicameralism, US Constitution, fundamental rights, impeachment of president, judicial review, independence of the judiciary, removal of Supreme Court and High Court judges and post of vice president. Irish Constitution, directive principles of state policy, the method of election of a president, nomination of members of Rajya Sabha. Constitution, federation with a strong center, the appointment of state governor by the center and advisory jurisdiction of Supreme Court, vesting of residuary power in the center. Australian Constitution, joint sitting of 2 houses of parliament, concurrent list. Constitution of Germany, suspension of fundamental rights in case of emergency. French Constitution, republic and ideals of liberty, fraternity and equal in the preamble. South African Constitution, election of members of Rajya Sabha, procedure for amendment of the Constitution. Japanese Constitution, procedure established by law. Constitution of former USSR, fundamental duties, procedure of 5-year plan, ideals of justice in preamble. ഇത്രയും കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് ഓരോ ഗവൺമെൻറ്റിൽ നിന്നും ഓരോ രാജ്യത്തിലെ ഭരണഘടനയിൽ നിന്നും ഉൾക്കൊണ്ടിട്ടുള്ള ഇന്ത്യൻ ഭരണഘടന കടമെടുത്തിട്ടുള്ള സോഴ്സുകൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷൻ്റെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ഭാഗങ്ങൾ ഏതൊക്കെയാണെന്ന് നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം. പാർട്ട് 1, ദ യൂണിയൻ ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ്സ് ടെറിട്ടറി, ആർട്ടിക്കിൾ 1 to 4, Part 2 Citizenship, Articles 5 to 11. Part 3 Fundamental Rights, Article 12 to 35. Part 4 Directive Principles of State Policy, Articles 36 to 51. Part 4A Fundamental Duties, Article 51, Part A. Part 5 The Union Executive, Articles 52 to 151. Part 6 The State Executive, Articles 150 to 237. Part 11 Relations between the Union and the States, Article 245 to 263. Part 14 Elections, Article 324 to 329. Part 18 Emergency Province, Article 352 to 360. Part 20 Amending the Constitution, Article 368. Part 21 Temporary, Transitional and Special Province, Article 369 to 372. These are the very important parts in the Constitution of India. Fundamental Rights, Article 12 to 35. The fundamental rights in the Constitution can be defined as a basic freedom of human that every citizen of India has the right to enjoy for the development of his or her personality. The 6 fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution are right to equality, right to freedom, cultural and educational rights, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, and right to constitutional remedies. These are the 6 fundamental rights of the Indian Constitution. It's occupied from the 12th article to 35 article. Fundamental duties, Article 51, Part A. The fundamental duties are the moral responsibilities of all Indian citizens to help promote a spirit of patriotism and to uphold the unity of India. These duties are not legally enforceable but held by the Supreme Court to be obligatory for all Indian citizens. The 11 fundamental duties are as follows: to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem, to cherish and follow the noble ideals that inspired our national struggle for freedom, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, integrity and unity of India, to defend the country and render the national service when called upon to do so. Fifth one, to promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood amongst the all people of India, transcending religious, regional, linguistic and or sectional diversities, to renounce the practices derogatory to the dignity of women. Sixth one, to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite Indian culture. Seventh one, to protect and improve the natural environment, including forests, rivers, lakes, wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. Eighth one, to develop scientific temper, humanism, and spirit of inquiry and reform. Ninth one, to safeguard the public property and to adjure violence. 10th one, to strive towards excellence in every sphere of individual and collective activities so that the nation constantly rises to higher level of individual and achievement. 11th one, every parent or guardian to provide opportunities for education to his child, or as the case may be, ward between the age of 6 to 14 years. These are the 11 fundamental duties are as follows. We have studied in our 9th standard or 10th standard, or if you are specialized in humanities, especially in the political science, you have to study these all subjects. So it is very easy for the humanities subject students. It will be complicated for the other subjects like commerce or science, like that. So now we have to look whom they are the main powers of the Indian Constitution and what are their duties, what are their specialities, what are the rights they have. We have to discuss about it. So these are this is the second part I have included in our lecture. So we have to discuss. First one, the President. Currently, Mr. Ramnath Kovind is serving as the President of India. The President is the first citizen of India who is elected indirectly by an electoral college comprising of the Parliament of India, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the states legislatures, Vidhan Sabha. He is the head of the state and the nominal executive authority. He serves for a term of 5 years. He can be removed before the expiry of the term through impeachment. He exercises executive, legislative and other powers. ഇവിടെ നിന്നും വളരെ വ്യക്തമാണ് 5 വർഷമാണ് അവരുടെ കാലാവധി. അതിൻ്റെ ഇടയ്ക്ക് ഇംപീച്ച്മെൻറ്റ് വഴി ചിലപ്പോൾ പുറത്താക്കപ്പെട്ടേക്കാം. ലോക്സഭയുടെയും രാജ്യസഭയുടെയും ഇലക്ടറൽ കോളേജ് കംപ്രൈസിങ്ങിൻ്റെ ഒരു പ്രസിഡന്റിനെ അങ്ങനെയാണ് തിരഞ്ഞെടുക്കപ്പെടുന്നത്. ഇത്രയും കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് ഇതിൽ വരുന്നത്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് എക്സിക്യൂട്ടീവ്, ലെജിസ്ലേറ്റീവ് മറ്റു അധികാരങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. നമുക്കത് നോക്കാം. Executive functions and powers of Indian President. The President is the head of the Union Executive and the Supreme Commander of Indian Armed Forces. He appoints judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts, governors of states, the Auditor General of India, the members of Finance Commission, Election Commission, Union Public Commission, etc. ഇതൊക്കെ അപ്പോയിന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് പ്രസിഡന്റാണ്. He appoints the Prime Minister. He is duty bound to appoint the leader of the majority party as the Prime Minister, and with his advice the other ministers of the Union Council of Ministers are appointed. ഇദ്ദേഹമാണ് പ്രൈം മിനിസ്റ്ററെ തിരഞ്ഞെടുക്കുന്നതും ഇദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ മറ്റു മന്ത്രിമാരെയും ഒക്കെ യൂണിയൻ കൗൺസിലെ മറ്റു മിനിസ്റ്റർമാരെയൊക്കെ അപ്പോയിന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഇദ്ദേഹമാണ്. ഹി ക്യാൻ ആൾസോ ഡിസോൾവ് ദ ലോക്സഭ. അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ലോക്സഭ പിരിച്ചുവിടാനുള്ള അവകാശമുണ്ട്. ലെജിസ്ലേറ്റീവ് പവേഴ്സ് ആൻഡ് ഫങ്ഷൻസ്. പ്രസിഡന്റ് ഈസ് ആൻ ഇന്റഗ്രൽ പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് ദ യൂണിയൻ ലെജിസ്ലേച്ചർ ഓർ പാർലമെന്റ്. യൂണിയൻ ലെജിസ്ലേറ്റീവ് കോൺസിസ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് ദ പ്രസിഡന്റ്, ലോക്സഭ ആൻഡ് രാജ്യസഭ. He can summon the houses of parliament either separately or jointly. He can discontinue, prorogue the houses of parliament. He can address the parliament at the beginning of the first session after each general election and the first joint session of each year. He nominates 12 members of the Rajya Sabha possessing special knowledge or practicing skills in literature, art, science and social service. All the bills passed by the parliament can become laws only after receiving the assent of president. He can return a bill for reconsideration to the parliament if it is not a money bill. But after reconsideration, if a bill is passed in the parliament and presented to the president, he is obligated to give the assent to the bill. Money bill cannot be introduced without his consent. The president has the power to declare 3 kinds of emergencies: national, state and financial. The president has 2 types of veto powers: absolutely veto and suspensive veto, which he can use over the bills passed by the parliament. Vice President. The Vice President is the second authority of India. The Vice President is the second highest ranking official after the President. He is elected by the Electoral College consisting of members of both houses, but doesn't include members of state legislative assemblies as in case of President. The qualifications are the same as those for President. He holds the office for 5 years. He can remove before expiry of his term through a resolution passed a Rajya Sabha with an absolute majority. No formal impeachment is required. If the post falls vacant in case of death, resignation or otherwise, the deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha takes charge until a new vice president is elected. Powers and functions. The Vice President has the legislative function of acting as the chairman of Rajya Sabha. He enjoys powers and functions similar to those of the speakers of Lok Sabha. He has the power to act as a president in case this post falls vacant due to death, resignation or otherwise for a maximum period of 6 months only, within which new president is appointed. When acting as a president, he doesn't perform the duties of chairman of Rajya Sabha. If both the post of president and vice president falls vacant, then the Chief Justice of India, or in his absence, the senior most judge of Supreme Court, takes the charge as a president. Prime Minister. Third one, Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is known to be head of the government, whereas the President is the head of the state. The Prime Minister is the real executive authority, whereas the President is the nominal executive authority. He is appointed by the President. The leader of the majority party in Lok Sabha is appointed as Prime Minister by the President. In case of no clear majority, then the President can use his powers in appointing the Prime Minister. The term is not fixed. Prime Minister holds the office during the pleasure of the President. Powers and functions of a Prime Minister. He acts as a chairman of the NITI Ayog, National Integration Council, National Development Council, National Water Resources Council, and Inter-State Council. He suggests the names of persons who can be appointed or can be removed as ministers by the President. He can suggest dissolution of the Lok Sabha to the President. He can suggest the President in case of appointing Comptroller and Auditor General of India, Attorney General of India, Advocate General of India, Chairman and members of UPSC, selection of election commissioners, and members and Chairman of Finance Commission. He is the Speaker of the ruling government. He acts as the political head of all the forces. Fourth one, Council of Ministers. In the Indian parliamentary system, there is a council of ministers headed by the Prime Minister. These ministers are appointed by the President on the recommendation of Prime Minister. The total number of ministers, including Prime Ministers, shall not exceed 15% of total members of Lok Sabha. The ministers hold their offices during the pleasure of the President. The Council of Ministers is classified into three categories. First one is Cabinet Ministers. They head the important ministries of the central government like Defense, Home, Finance, Railway, Human Resource Development, and External Affairs, etc. Second one, Ministers of State. They can either assist the Cabinet Ministers or can be given independent charge of ministries or departments. Third one, Deputy Ministers. They always assist the Cabinet or State Minister or both. They are never given independent charge of ministries. They are not members of the Cabinet. Fifth one, the last one, Governor. Governor exists in the states while Lieutenant Governors exist in Union Territories and Delhi. Governor is the nominal head of the government of the state while Chief Minister is the real head of the government. He enjoys same powers at the state level as that of President at Union level. He is appointed by the President and holds the office during the pleasure of the President. He generally holds the office and the powers and functions of the governor. He appoints the chief minister, leader of the majority party, and with the letters advice appoints council of ministers. In case of no clear majority, he can use his discretionary powers in appointing chief ministers. He can summon, dissolve, or prorogue, discontinue the state legislative assembly. All the bills passed by the state legislature must receive the assent of governor to finally become law. The governor appoints the advocate general, chairman, and members of the state public service commission and state election commissioner. The governor, by virtue of his office, is the chancellor of most of the universities in India. So here we have to finish our lecture. So thank you everyone for watching this long video. So these are the very important aspects related to, polity and governance. We have tried to finish this in a 2 time, but we can't finish it. So that's why I just go very fastly, because we have to finish anyhow in this lecture. So we can conclude it. So it is very basic and fundamental knowledge about our political science, political system of our India, how they work, what are the functions and important duties of this prominent personality. So this is the very basic and fundamental things we have to know. Each and every citizen should know about our Indian Constitution. So thank you again for watching this video.